Welcome back to Hoosier Homes and Hustles. If you're new to the channel, I'm Jessica Williams.
And I'm Stacy Preston, and we're both brokers with eXp Realty in Central Indiana. If you're passionate about real estate, be sure to like and subscribe to join the hustle. Today, we are continuing our Battle of the Burbs series. Any ideas what we might be talking about?
I mean, you're giving away a pretty big clue over there, Stacy.
Yeah, I figured so.
All right, that's right. Each episode will chat with a local agent about their hometown to get the inside scoop. What's great, what's not so great, and what you need to know if you're considering a move to that suburb. Today, we're spotlighting, if you haven't guessed it already, Brownsburg. And Stacy is our resident expert in all things Brownsburg.
I'm so excited to share what makes my hometown great. But before we get started, Jessica, you want to share our most recent market stat?
Yeah, here's market stats from 2024 Indiana Association of Realtors and RPR. The average days on market is 20 days. Median sales price is $362,300. And sellers are receiving approximately 97% of their asking price. The change in estimated value over the last 12 months is up almost 4%. And over the last 24 months, it's up over 15%. So tell us how long you've lived in Brownsburg and what made you decide to make Brownsburg home.
So we bought our house in 2013, and we've been there ever since. And when we were looking for a home, we wanted to find something that had a little bit of a larger lot. And we were really looking all over Hendricks County and just really fell in love with the home we found in Brownsburg. But we also liked how close it was to the interstate. It was really easy to get on 74, get downtown, or to the airport. It was close to my husband's job, and we had heard good things about the schools. And when we moved, our kids were kind of preschool, early elementary ages. So that was a huge reason why we chose Brownsburg.
Now, what is one thing that you love about Brownsburg? I'm sure you have a few, but let's just go with one.
I'm going to say the community events. So it's one, but it's a few. So
Cheater.
I know. The Brownsburg Parks and Recreation Department does a really good job of putting on some fun community events. And one of my favorites is the 4th of July. Specifically, I love the 4th of July parade. It's every 4th of July at 10 a.m. You come in and get your seat, bring your blankets and your chairs, and everyone's in their red, white, and blue. And it is just such a fun morning. Our whole town really comes together. Your kids will get free popsicles and free drinks and just candy and all sorts of stuff. It's so much fun. And actually, we have planned our vacations around the 4th of July because we don't want to miss the 4th of July parade.
Now, is the parade so popular to where you need to save your seat like the day before or something?
No. We used to go around like 8 and pick our spot. We would meet friends and bring breakfast and just kind of make a whole morning out of it. But you don't have to get there like the night before.
Okay.
A couple other things that the Parks and Recreation Department puts on is our farmers markets too. Those are at Town Hall in the summer every week, and just a great way to shop local businesses. They usually have food trucks and entertainment, and I just love that part of living in Brownsburg.
Okay, so now on the flip side of that, let me know and our listeners know one thing that you don't necessarily love about Brownsburg.
So one of the things that I don't love is our traffic, construction, and some of the locations of the recent warehouses. I think this is all kind of a necessary evil in a growing town. The road constructions for utility projects, which have to happen, but it's just really inconvenient.
That seems to be a common thing amongst all these suburbs.
Yeah, it is. And then warehouses we're a logistics hub in Indianapolis, so you're going to have that. There's been a couple in Brownsburg that are kind of like right in the middle of town that I don't love, but now most of them are going in more of an industrial area. So, it's a great tax base. We need that in our town, but sometimes I'm kind of like, why is that here?
Right, especially for any residents where if it ends up right in their backyards,
Yeah,
wondering the same thing. All right. So what can you tell us about having kids in Brownsburg community schools?
Okay, so when we moved, our kids were, like I said, preschool and early elementary ages, and now they're in high school. So I could probably talk a lot about the schools and may give you more information than you want. But so our school district is a big school district. I want to kind of explain how they're laid out. We have 8 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, 1 high school, and then we also have an early childhood development center, a non-traditional high school, and Alpha, which provides additional behavioral and social supports for students that need it. Our district has over 10,000 students, and the high school has over 3,000. And the high school is actually gearing up with construction, which I'll talk about later, to house basically 1,000 students per class, so 4,000. Even with it being so big, it is we have a 99.6% graduation rate, which is awesome. And we're consistently ranked number one in the state for reading and math iLearn scores. And also, a lot of the other school rankings were usually in the top five of the state on different things. So it's a really strong school district. Okay, so as a realtor, one question I get asked a lot if a family is moving to Brownsburg is, what school should my kid go to as far as elementary schools? And sometimes I'll get clients that are already in Brownsburg and they really want to stay at their elementary school, but they want to buy a bigger house and, stay in that. And I actually discourage that because all of our schools in Brownsburg are A rated. So if you are limiting your home search based on elementary school, there's eight of them, right? You've just split the market into eight pieces. That means your inventory is going to be really limited.
Right.
And I know that the concern is that, their kids are comfortable at that school, but Brownsburg does an awesome job of keeping all of their grades on basically at the same place every day. So if your kid is going to Reagan Elementary and you move and next Monday they're going to Crossroads Elementary, they're literally doing the same worksheets, the same lesson plans that they were doing at their old school. So academically, they shouldn't have any issues. I know there's the issue with keeping their friends and they're comfortable there, but I don't think you should base your home search on that, mainly because it's going to be hard to find what you're looking for when you're looking at that small of a segment of our
Right.
town. We've also talked about this in other episodes, but in a growing suburb, anytime we add an elementary school, which they already are going to talk about adding the ninth, we get redistricted, meaning kids shuffle around to different elementary schools anyways. So I would really hate that you buy a house because you want this elementary school and then next year it changes. So just be aware of that. One thing that is important in a big school district is trying to see if that district still feels small and that your kids' needs are being met. And I feel like Brownsburg does a great job of feeling small in the elementary and middle school levels. And I'll talk a little bit about that. At the elementary level, each school has around 500 students and the class sizes are small. Plus, they have extra support in reading and math if your kids need it. And when we were in elementary school in those ages, it felt like we were part of a very small, close knit community. I think one of the scariest parts of parenting is when your child moves from elementary school to middle school, right? That's a weird age. And I think our middle schools do a fantastic job of making that transition not so intimidating. And one way they do this is through their team system. So your student will be placed on a team of around 100 kids at middle school, and they'll have four teachers. So math, reading, science, social studies. Those four teachers' classrooms are all in one hallway, and those 100 students stay in that hallway basically all day. Their lockers are there, restrooms are there, and that group of those four teachers really get to know your student and can identify if there's an issue they need to address and just really help them be successful. So I liked that when my kids went off to the middle school because that's kind of a big jump from the elementary schools. Um, Once they get to high school, there's really no way around them being at a big school, but there is a similar team system at the high school where they're on their team, like let's say Team 2026. They have the same principal and counselor staff all the way through high school. So they start with them as freshmen and follow them all the way through to their senior year. And that allows them to get to know the students because when you've got over 3,000 students, it's going to be hard to know them on an individual basis. Some advice I have for parents that are navigating the high school, I feel like that is a big jump from middle school to high school as far as the size goes and your students becoming more independent. So as a parent, you kind of are like, what is going on? I would recommend attending any of the meetings that the high school puts out for new freshman parents. They have one about diploma options and electives, and you can kind of help map out your students' path if they're interested in like computer science or engineering, biomed, business. It's kind of hard when they're in eighth grade to know this, but those meetings are great to give you an idea of what to do on the schedule for your student. They do a freshman boot camp. So the week before school starts, your student will go there and spend a half a day just getting to know the high school and their teachers and the clubs and activities that are available. One piece of advice I have for parents is encouraging your student to get involved in something. It could be sports, clubs, activities, arts, something, because at a high school that big, it's really hard to find people and friends because you may not see that person that's in your first period class at all again the whole day because it's just so big. So if they're plugged into something, that will allow them to hopefully make friends and build community and just kind of have that fun high school experience. Being part of a big high school is great because your kids will have opportunities and experiences to take advantage of. So my daughter was in show choir, and last year she got to go to Nashville, Tennessee, and she was on their stage crew. They were performing at nationals, and they were performing at the Grand Ole Opry. Like, how cool is that, right?
That's pretty sweet.
So she's doing stage crew on that stage at the Grand Ole Opry, and just such a cool experience for them. But there's so many examples like that. I mean, there's overseas trips they can take. There different competitions for band and choir and sports that take them all over the place. I know our cheerleaders were just at Disney competing. So I mean, there's something for everyone, and I think that's the benefit of the bigger high schools is that you have those types of opportunities. And then academically, Brownsburg High School offers a ton of AP and dual credit courses. And Jessica, I know you love to save money. So the dual credit courses are an amazing way for parents to save money on their college tuition for their student. Brownsburg offers over 20 dual credit courses, and these are through Ball State, Vincennes, IU, and Ivy Tech. They get credit for high school and college at the same time, and the only fee to the parent is like if there's a book or supply that they need. So I have friends whose kids have graduated and they go into their first year of college as sophomores. So that essentially saves you a year of college tuition, which is really,
Yeah, what parents wouldn't like that?
yeah. Plus, you get those courses out of the way, like English 101. Like, who wants to be doing that twice, right? To do it in high school, then turn around and do it again. So just saves time. I know I have a friend whose son is able to start his master's 1 year earlier because of the credits he brought with him to college from high school. So if your kid is eligible for those dual credit courses, your counselor will let them know, but that's a great way to save some money. One other opportunity that is available is the Area 31 program, which this is a program that offers things like cosmetology, welding, computer science, pre-nursing, medical assisting, and your kid would leave for half of the high school day and do these courses. And by the end of high school, they've got a certificate or sometimes it's a license to do an occupation. And this is great for kids that maybe don't want to go to college, but want to be able to work right out of high school. And one of my friend's sons is in the welding program currently, and after high school, he'll be able to start work immediately. So what a great way to prepare our kids to take on jobs right out of high school. Okay, let's talk sports now. I am not a huge sports person, but being a parent has at least turned me into sports because I go to my kids' stuff all the time. So sports at a big high school, it's very competitive. But there are some teams that your kid can be a part of and they don't cut. So football and track are two of those. At Brownsburg, our sports programs are amazing. Our most recent victory with football was that we won state for the first time since 1985, which was a huge deal in our town.
I guess congratulations, Brownsburg.
Thank you. Even though I don't love sports, I went to the game. It was at Lucas Oil Stadium, and it was the most amazing game. I was so proud to be part of Brownsburg. They had the stadium sectioned off for Brownsburg and Westfield, and Brownsburg had way more people there. I think it was just a bigger deal to our town because Westfield has won a few times in the recent years. But it was so cool to see our town come together for that moment. And it was a great game. Again, for someone that doesn't really even watch sports, I was totally engaged. It kept me on the edge of my seat. And that team really pulled together and did a great job. So it's fun to be a part of a town that's got that kind of school spirit. And it's a a great experience for our students too. I mean, they had a great time. Our wrestling team also just won state, and our wrestling and football teams are both nationally ranked. And I'm sure there's other highlights in other sports, but again, I don't follow all of them. But I do know being a part of those programs are great for your students. And the last thing I was going to touch on, which is again, a hot topic, is the construction projects that are going on. If you've been to our high school, you might think, what in the world is going on here? It's a mess. There's fences and mud and dirt. It's a mess. But here's what's going on. So we just recently finished some indoor renovations, including a brand new cafeteria, common spaces, additional classrooms inside. Now we've shifted to some athletic and facilities updates, which included an aquatic center. We've got new tennis courts. We have a new field house that's going to open. And the field house is actually something that the whole town of Brownsburg can use. They're going to rent that space out to youth sports, and we'll be able to host tournaments. So that's actually going to bring tourism dollars to Brownsburg. Once that's done, they are also working on our varsity gym and updating that, and our football field and bleachers, entrance to the football field, and practice football field are all kind of under construction right now. So lots of great facilities. Some of the things that we have is just really great. I mean, like, you wouldn't even believe how awesome some of these things are that our kids get to access every day.
Kind of makes you think, I wish I was going to high school now
I know.
versus, well, I won't say how many years ago, but.
Right. So yeah, I'm sorry I spent so much time on the school, but that is kind of where I'm at in this phase of life. So hopefully that's helpful to someone that maybe has kids coming into the school district.
I'm sure it is. It was definitely a great, deep dive into that. Okay, so you've kind of touched on developments with the schools, but what about the rest of Brownsburg outside of the school district? What kind of developments should folks be considering or taking into consideration?
So I'm probably just scratching the surface on these, but I'll talk about some that I'm aware of. So one that's going on right now is the new Brownsburg Youth Sports Complex, and this is a 60-acre development that's going to have 10 baseball and softball fields on the northeast side of town. And my son played Little League. I can tell you, with all the students and kids in that community, we just didn't have enough field space. There were times we were renting fields at Pittsburgh just to get all the practices and games in. Drew Storen, who is a retired MLB player and an alum of Brownsburg High School and Brownsburg Little League, donated some money to get this project started. It's been funded by other donations as well. And Drew is the chairman of the project. And there's also future plans beyond baseball and softball to add other fields, parks, trails. So it's going to be a really great addition for our community. The next one I'll talk about is our Ronald Reagan Parkway extension. Ronald Reagan Parkway connects Hendricks County to Interstate 70, the airport, through Plainfield, Avon, and Brownsburg. It connects to I-74 and eventually will connect to I-65. So for our county, this is a great road to just give us connectivity, cut down on our commutes, and get us to where we need to be quickly. This is also the corridor where most of the warehouses are going, so that's our industrial tax base there. But the project now is being extended in Brownsburg from 600 north to 750 north. There's a bridge, an overpass that's going over some railroad tracks, which again help with cutting down on traffic times. And along that, we're getting a new Meijer, which is kind of a big deal for Brownsburg because we currently just have a Kroger and Walmart. Those are our only two, well, and an Aldi. So those are our grocery options. This will give us a nice big super center to shop at. And I'm sure that will also bring in additional retail and restaurants around that. And then eventually that will connect further north through Brownsburg. So those northern communities will have access really all the way to I-70 in the airport from Brownsburg. So cutting down on those commutes is always nice. One of the developments we have that's getting a lot of buzz in the community is we are getting 2 Wawas. Have you ever been to a Wawa?
Wait, so you're getting a Wawa and you're not only getting one, but you're getting 2?
Getting 2, yeah. So one is going to be at 700 North and 267, and one is going to be at 300 North and Ronald Reagan Parkway. But have you ever been to one?
I think we have. Are they in Florida?
I think so.
Then yes.
Okay. It sounds like they're a luxury gas station. A gas station with food you might actually eat.
If I'm going to go to a gas station, it better be luxury.
Exactly. So we're excited to get our Wawa locations. I also wanted to talk through our upcoming housing additions. We've got a lot of new construction neighborhoods right now, everything from townhouses to semi-custom homes. Our townhouse options start in the upper 200s, and the price range for new construction in Brownsburg is typically around 400 to 450 for single family homes with production builders. And there is a new semi-custom development right now that is 1 to 2 acres starting at 800,000 for semi-custom homes. And obviously that price will go up too. So there's a lot of price range options and a lot of inventory. We have Olthoff Homes, MI Homes, Pulte Homes, and Fisher Homes building in Brownsburg right now. So that's kind of who is doing our inventory. I think that's all I have to say about upcoming developments. There's a lot more, but I thought those were kind of the highlights.
Yep, those are great ones for sure. So if someone is making a move or planning to make a move to Brownsburg, what's one piece of advice you would give them?
Okay, this is kind of funny. So I had a client one time who she was moving here from Minnesota, and she had gotten on the Brownsburg chatter groups to ask questions. And if anyone's on any of those Facebook chatter groups, I don't know how to describe them, but they're not necessarily a pleasant place to be. So she texted me and she's like, Stacey, I just don't know if we should move to Brownsburg. It sounds like everybody hates this town. I'm like, okay, you're in the wrong group. So those groups are just a lot of complainers. You're going to hear about, again, they're complaining about the traffic in the warehouses and all that stuff. But there's a lot of great stuff too. So a Facebook group I recommend if you are looking to kind of connect with people and learn more about our town is the Real Housewives and Friends of Hendricks County. It's not just Brownsburg focused, but the admins do live in Brownsburg. So there's a lot of good information there. You do have to be a female to get in though. So that's one thing. And then
There are rules.
yeah, and they actually really moderate that group well. It's very drama free, and there's not scammers in there. It's a good place to be. I would also recommend connecting with the Brownsburg Parks and Recreation Department. Really, for any age, they have a lot of stuff for kids, but they also have things like senior yoga and bird watching. So there's literally something for every age if you don't know anybody and you're just trying to get plugged in. So I would recommend that too.
All right. So, as we've done with the other episodes, we like to support local. Can you give us 3 of your top favorite local businesses you like to frequent?
Yes, this was hard because there are more than just 3, but these are my 3 favorite. My first one is LMA's Boutique. It's in downtown Brownsburg. Have you ever shopped there?
I have not been to Ella.
You need to go.
I walked by, but I
okay.
have not been in.
It's so cute. They have so much selection. They have tons of different sizes. They also, I feel like their prices are very affordable for boutique clothing. So I highly recommend it. The owner's super sweet. And yeah, it's a great place to shop. I don't even like to shop. I've mentioned this before. I'm not a big in-person shopper, but I do like shopping there. My second one is going to be the Hayloft. It is a farm to table grocery store, and it really supports local farmers. Have you ever been there?
Do they make donuts?
They make cupcakes.
Okay, no, that's not the right place then.
Okay. So they have meat, produce. It's not a big grocery store by any means. It's pretty small actually, but they have a freezer section with meat. They have produce. They have some different deli options. And then they do have a bakery. So they have amazing cupcakes, cookies. They have gluten-free baked goods, all sorts of stuff like that. So that's a fun place to shop for just specialty grocery items. And my last one, I thought I'd throw one in for kids. Brightly Art Studio is a business downtown Brownsburg. It's just right around the corner from LMA's actually. And Brightly offers art classes and camps really for all ages, but they do specialize with kids. I was not a mom that loved getting out the glitter and the Play-Doh and the slime. This is where your kid can do that and have so much fun. Their space is so cute. You can have birthday parties there. The staff is amazing. Their social media is beautiful, just all the colorful art and glitter. So I love that place, Brightly Art Studio. They do have some retail items too, so it's a great place to go if you need like a Christmas or birthday idea for a kid. Some really cute stuff. Those are my top 3.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks, Stacy, for sharing your insights and helping anyone who's considering a move to Brownsburg get to know it a little bit better. And if you're thinking about making Brownsburg your home, Stacy is your go-to agent. So, Stacy, if folks would like to get in contact with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
You can reach out to me on social media at Stacy Preston Realtor, Stacy with Stacy Preston Realtor. And then it'll be in the show notes too. So
Yes.
be sure to leave a comment if you have any questions about living in Brownsburg, or if you have a suburb you'd like to see us feature in a future episode. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
That's right. Well, let's hustle smarter
Together. We'll see you next time.